Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 6 a.m. on Saturday in Germany. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Real quick, before we get started, over 80% of our viewers have not subscribed. If you watch 2 or more episodes, please consider subscribing. Seeing some of these numbers actually went up because I posted a short with 94.5%. And we got a lot of views, like 500 views.
So that's cool.
Yeah, and only 4 of them were subscribed. So think about it.
But that's from a short, so.
Yeah, that was a short I just hung today and kind of blew my mind. We had a comment before.
Yeah.
Before you want to show that? You want to run that?
Sure.
It's.
I'd rather pour water on the AI machine.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, there's good things and bad things, but we'll get into that.
And just to remind you folks that we've been at this for 4 years now. We've kind of celebrating the anniversary. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah. Tonight is a crunchy topic, artificial intelligence. We'll be back in 8.3 seconds. Hey, Janie, welcome. Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate all the people who have subscribed. What if AI has already taken over the world? What is artificial intelligence? What can you do to defend yourself against the machine? What say you about artificial intelligence, Jeff?
Well, first of all, hey, Scott. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the topic, but I know a bit about it, and I am not a huge fan of AI, but it has its uses.
We always learn every time we take on a subject like this. I actually found a really cool tool that I've been having a lot of fun with, and that was a reference to the short that I made earlier, and it's got over 500 views.
Yeah. Can you watch the comments now?
Because yes. I'm going to be. You want me to share too?
Sure. The first question that Pam asked is, what if AI has already taken over the world? It hasn't. Oh, go ahead and go back to us.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. And Janie said happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Thank you, Janie.
Yep. It kind of, sort of already has, but not in the way that people think. And is it bad? Yes, but not in the way people think. AI is not some intelligence out there plotting and planning. I don't doubt that we could eventually create such a thing. I don't think we've got nearly the processing power in the entire world. And even if we did, we don't have enough of it in one spot, because the lag of communication means that each individual data center is pretty individual.
Interesting.
And quite frankly, we have a hard enough time getting them to talk to each other now when we want them to. You know, a Skynet thing is not likely yet. I mean, we don't even have the stuff that can create the stuff that could, that could lead to that. So
well, that's good news, because it's coming soon, isn't it? According to the movie timeline.
I thought it already came, but
oh, okay, maybe yeah. I don't remember.
But in the fact that AI has already taken over the world is, the word that I use for it is endemic. It's spread, it's everywhere, doesn't really hurt you too bad, but it's
been around for like 70 years, right?
The term has been around.
Oh, okay.
You see, it's in everything. It's in your cell phone when it does speech recognition. That's AI.
Which is useful, yeah. I would say.
When you call tech support anywhere and get a chat bot, it's called a bot. It's AI. Chances of you actually chatting with a real person is very minimal.
Yeah, I find those.
Yeah.
Especially online, I find them very tedious.
Heck, your Alexa, whatever spyware thing that you have in your home is AI.
I don't have any.
Right. Neither do I.
Yeah, we don't have any.
And I don't do voice recognition on my phone either. Because here's the other thing. The AI is not in your phone. It's not in your Alexa. It's not on your computer. It's on a server farm somewhere, because your phone, your computer, that little box for Alexa that's essentially a jazzed up smart speaker, you know, none of them have the processing power to do even a little bit of the AI.
Kind of like the first computers.
Right.
You had just a terminal at your end,
Right.
and it was all somewhere else.
Right.
In big rooms.
Now, Microsoft has gotten into AI with their Copilot. And for the first time, and there probably were out there otherwise, but they actually gave the technical requirements for having an in-house copy of Copilot, so that a company could run their own version and not have, and this is the trouble, is that whoever's running the AI has all of your information. In order for Alexa to know that you're saying, hey, Alexa, or whatever, it has to be listening. And it is not processing in the Alexa box. So everything that it hears is going to the server.
Okay.
And you have to trust, and I have issues with that, you have to trust that whatever company it is isn't like paying attention to everything you say. Now, if you've ever had a conversation around, I know someone who's had a conversation about a certain topic. His phone was in his pocket. The next time he opened up his phone, he had ads for that topic.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cliffy's here. We can get started.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening to you. Good afternoon, actually, for Cliff.
Yeah, so that, I think, is one of the major dangers about AI.
Yeah, Catherine tells a story about talking to her friend. Her phone was over on her desk, and they happened to be talking about bridesmaids' dresses, because I guess the friend was getting married.
So that's another.
And Catherine gets to her desk with her phone and sees the bridesmaids' ads when she'd never, ever looked at any before.
Right.
So it wasn't even just her phone listening, it was her friend's phone listening and told her phone. Crazy, huh?
Yeah. So, that's the biggest problem that I have with AI, is that they're information gathering tools.
You gotta wonder, though, there's just so much information. It's bound to be like really boring.
Well, and
just people talking, doing their normal everyday things, talking about picking up the kids, and I don't know. Can you imagine that being that interesting? I don't know.
Well, no, it's not that someone's listening to you, but they're categorizing you. So, if you say have a conversation about firearms, and you have enough conversations about firearms, then if they do a gun ban, then they knew who to go for.
So talking code.
Yeah, if you're not the political party that's in charge, then and figure out which political party the different companies are working for. Because I'm not saying that they're doing it now, but the potential is there. And so that's my biggest concern about AI, is that it's not. Oh, and I mentioned that Microsoft has,
oh dear.
Or use pagers, yeah.
Or use pagers.
Yeah, or just don't do voice recognition. My phone doesn't have voice recognition on it.
I think mine does.
Yeah. I specifically basically blew that out of my phone.
It'd be nice if you could turn off certain things.
Right. And now,
leave them off.
Are you sure that it's off?
Right.
No. Which is another thing. But so Microsoft actually gave the requirements for running Copilot, which is their AI solution, on your own server, so that your information wouldn't go out of your company.
Yeah, well, that's nice of them.
Their requirement is that you have to be able to, your computing system has to be able to do 40,000 or 40 teraflops, which is 40 trillion instructions per second.
Wow.
So, that means basically a room of computer. That's what it takes to run the AI.
Okay.
Now there is AI that, I mean, cars, Tesla runs AI, but it's not, and that's where we get into the types of AI, because there's large language models and small language models,
Okay.
LLMs and SLMs, if you want to use the terminology. But a small language model does something specific, and it's already been trained. And like your Tesla can't learn how to drive any better than it knows, which is why they do updates, because it doesn't have the processing power to learn more. So it got, they have a huge server farm that trains, they run a fleet of Teslas that are directly connected to that server farm, and it trains the server farm. And when they get enough of an improvement, they send out an update.
Well, and the projects that we've demonstrated here in the past are training the AI to recognize
various things.
Yeah.
And that's, and those are also small language models.
They're very specific. Okay.
Yeah, it's very specific. Is this change in the image an asteroid or not? Let's just use one example, but a lot of the Zooniverse projects are training their AIs.
And yet still people are just better at it.
Yeah. And so a small language model is basically a turn the crank. It's a little bit more complicated than turn the crank. So there's no intelligence.
What does that mean?
There's no intelligence.
Oh, I see.
It just does a function.
It's just It's just like rote.
Right. Yeah.
Doing rote calculations of sorts. Okay.
Now things like ChatGPT,
GPT.
GPT. Yeah, I always get it mixed up.
It's alphabetical. GPT.
Yeah. That's why I said it the way I did.
Yeah.
It's alphabetical. In my alphabet. Is that those are large language models, because they're trying to learn language itself, and they're continuously learning. They're always learning, which is why it requires so much processing power.
Okay.
And so much data storage, and it's why they're all very hungry for data, because they're trying to train their stuff.
Getting back to the car thing, I sit there, and even the car we have now will do some funny things, and it's like, hang on a minute, I'm the one with the license here. Will the car be liable if there's a problem? No, I will be, but the car did it.
Right.
Kind of annoying.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
And that's nowhere near. They actually used AI to do those parameters, like our car has a couple of cameras on the front, and it knows where the lines of the road are.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, unless they put tar strips to
or
fix
the
cracks,
sun's in the wrong position, and it'll actually cause resistance in the steering wheel. And I'm like, I have a car here and I have a bicyclist here, and I've got to avoid them both. Give it up, car. Don't bother me. I'm driving.
It actually turns off power steering in the direction that it thinks that you're not supposed to be going.
Okay, that's what it is. Still, it feels like resistance and out of control. And
here's the thing:
I'm trying to drive here.
Is that car will never get better at seeing where the lines are,
but it does get updates
unless it gets an update. And the only way it gets an update is you take it in to the dealer. It doesn't get them over the air.
The Tesla does, though, I think.
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Because our friend over here, Chris, had one, and she would complain about it. It's like, well, now it doesn't do this because it just got an update, and she didn't take it anywhere.
Right. Well, it's because they've been slowly paring down the auto driving stuff on it because it's not very good at it.
Not very good at it. Imagine that.
Yeah. and it's now a driving assistant.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah, our car is definitely like just stopped when like a car comes in front too fast, or I happen to not be paying as much attention. Yeah, I get it. And if you get a little too close to the car ahead, it'll just stop. It'll just
Well, it won't stop,
It
but it'll
stalls basically.
no, it hits the what it does is it activates the um what anti the traction control, the
Okay.
anti-skid. It activates the anti-skid brakes, which actually pulses the brakes to slow you down.
Okay.
Normally anti-skid is when you're on the brakes, it pulses them off. This it pulses them on to slow you down.
And I'm very fond of sitting there going, "You're wrong." Like one of the lines thing,
Yeah.
and it'll be like, "Oh, there's a line there." It'll beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, "You're wrong."
Right. But in any case, that's
They should listen to me. Then they can
but
update.
you see, that's not AI. That's essentially a program written by an AI.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
So,
It's still annoying.
and when talking about the different types of AI, the different types depends on who you ask. Like I said, there's large language model and there's small language model.
Okay.
But that's only one factor. That's only looking at it from one direction.
Okay.
If you show this is the 7 types of artificial intelligence.
There you go.
And
There's
you
the
won't
screen.
see either large language model or small language model in it.
Oh, interesting.
Here, let me make this bigger. Here are the 7 types that they say, and this isn't definitive. This is just what they say.
So this is one
This is
group's opinion.
But I've seen this in a number of different
Oh, I see.
locations. So this is one specific opinion.
Okay.
Narrow AI designed to complete a very specific actions, unable to independently learn.
Like the car.
Like the cars,
Okay.
voice recognition, with a little bit of wiggle room in there, because like Dragon Naturally Speaking runs on your computer. It's voice to text, and it actually has been trained to learn how to recognize different accents. You can train it for your accent,
Okay.
but that's all it can do.
Ah,
So, created by an AI with just a smidge of AI in it, just to do that one very specific thing.
so it's still the narrow.
It's a narrow AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Artificial general intelligence,
Hmm.
AI designed to learn, think, and perform at similar levels to human. This is a goal. We're not there. But the large language models are actually narrow AIs, but we're trying to make them general intelligence.
Okay.
We're not there. I think we're very far away from that.
Okay.
Because to perform similar to levels to humans, if we had that, we wouldn't need to continuously correct them. I mean, they wouldn't need us in Zooniverse to train them if they were that good. Artificial superintelligence. This is AI able to surpass the knowledge and capabilities of humans. That's sci-fi land, at least for now. I mean, maybe someday in the future. It's not here. It's not even on the horizon yet. Probably, if we live long enough, it'll probably happen.
Well, and then there's Moore's law. Anything that gets, computerized essentially is a good way to say it. Hits this thing called Moore's law every 18 months. It doubles. It doubles.
Yeah.
So that could be sooner than we think.
Yep. And they are putting AI chips in computers now.
Okay.
Intel's Ultra processors actually have a section for AI on them, and I'll discuss that a little bit later.
Good. Okay.
Now there's reactive machine AI. This is AI capable of responding to external stimuli in real time, unable to build memory or store information for the future.
That sounds like the Tesla.
This is the Tesla. This is speech recognition. This is actually where almost every single AI that we've got right now that we call AI is here. I mean, some of it's as limited as narrow AI, but narrow AI is kind of maybe a subcategory of reactive AI. And that's where these are a little bit squidgy too, is that, you could have a narrow reactive AI or a narrow limited memory AI, but AI that can store knowledge and use it to learn and train for future tasks. Again, we're here-ish.
Okay.
We're kind of there, not fully. Um, theory of mind AI. They can sense and respond to human emotions, plus perform tasks of limited memory machines.
That sounds like the Japanese robots.
Yeah.
That's what comes to mind when I hear you say that anyway.
Yeah. And yes, that's what they're trying for. They're not there. They're able to kind of simulate it.
Okay.
But it's not there. It's like finger painting a copy of the Mona Lisa. I mean, that's the,
Okay.
That's kind of, they've got their crayons now. And they're trying to draw the Mona Lisa.
Interesting.
With, doing this with a crayon.
Okay.
But, they're trying for it. But, simulating it isn't it.
Right.
But a lot of people like to treat the lie as the truth. Basically, if it looks like it's thinking, it is. No. Nope.
I think of thinking as being like interjecting irrational stuff into it, like having even brainstorming is like you come up with like or cross-pollinate different ideas.
Well, again, they've been able to simulate that by just having an AI that just takes random pieces of input and throws them together. So can it brainstorm? Kinda. Is it thinking while it's brainstorming? Not really.
Okay. All right.
And then the last type is self-aware AI. Again, sci-fi land.
So these are in somewhat of a down the path as well.
Yeah,
here.
But there's also categories like, the capability-based the narrow and the artificial general and the super intelligence. Those are all capabilities. Then you get into functionality-based. And so
what's the difference? I'm not really sure.
Basically, how much can it do? And then what does it do?
Okay.
And so that's why I said reactive machine AI. A lot of it's up here with the narrow AI, but some of it is trying to get into the artificial general intelligence. So they're kind of like two categories that are like east, west, north, south. You're kind of
okay.
They're kind of different, and they give examples here. So
wait a minute. Let me go back.
This is good.
I'll share a screen again. There you go.
Okay, narrow AI is image recognition software, self-driving cars, AI virtual assistants. Artificial general intelligence is a work in progress. These are the technologies that might make it possible. But, ChatGPT tries for this. GPT, whatever. I don't care.
Okay.
We can run an AI to correct it in the video. I don't care.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that will make us more human is our mistakes. We won't be so perfect.
Yeah. So artificial superintelligence, no AIs except in science fiction. I mean, this is what we want things. Well, what some people want it to be able to do and other people really don't want it to be able to do. Reactive machine AI is performing basic autonomous functions, filtering spam from your email inbox.
That'd be useful.
And some programs, some email servers do that.
Okay.
Gmail can do it if you tell it to.
Oh.
The trouble is that what is it filter that you might want?
Yeah.
So, recommending items based on your shopping history. This is in a lot of websites.
Yes.
I mean, this is why websites have cookies. This is why your browsers are spying on you.
Well,
when you start seeing ads that are based on your browsing history, it's because your browser is spying on you.
Well, I think it's not quite spying. It's
Right.
the marketers, the internet marketers, talk about
Mhm.
placing a pixel for
Right.
whatever
But in any case,
in your.
no, but the browser companies are actually keeping a
Oh, okay.
copy of that data too.
I see.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah. You know, reactive AI can't build upon previous knowledge or perform complex tasks. So these are not learning machines.
Mhm.
They're essentially baked. You know, when they basically stop learning and send out the product, we've referred to it as baked.
That's baked, like baked bread.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
baked into it. It's part of the
Right.
programming, right?
Meaning it won't learn anymore. It's got what it's got.
It can't change its own
Right.
programming.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Now, reactive machines, Deep Blue, IBM's Deep Blue,
Mhm.
played chess.
Mhm.
It processed a lot to learn how to play chess, but then in order to play the game, they had to stop it from learning and just let it go. It wasn't learning while it was playing.
Oh, I see.
Again, Netflix's AI-powered recommendation engines.
Oh,
That's AI.
okay. Well, when does it recommend? Just at the I think
Like,
at the top when you get there and it
right.
runs a video.
Or
and
similar.
I'll actually sit there and go, "What the heck am I seeing this thing for? I don't watch
Right.
that stuff."
Because you watched X. Or, yeah.
I never did though.
But you'll see that because there is a line in Netflix that says, because you watched X, and it's a whole category.
Yes, I've seen those.
Yeah, but that's what that is.
Hmm.
Now, limited memory AIs. These are AIs that can actually learn. Oh, can't see the words?
Yeah, it's at the top. See?
Oh,
yeah, there you go. Now I can see it.
Here are the examples. This is what I wanted to get to. Chatbots and virtual assistants. Some of these can actually learn from their use.
Okay.
A lot of them are baked. The cheap ones are baked, but some of them can learn.
Okay.
Self-driving cars. Again, the car itself doesn't learn, but the system does.
Mm-hmm.
They're continuously updating it, but the car itself doesn't learn. Because if each car learned, they'd learn differently than the other cars.
Oh.
Then you'd have different behaviors. Then you'd have, what the heck is going on?
I think we're getting into the land of, but I've got the license. Why is the car driving?
Yeah.
Okay.
So theory of mind example. And again, now they're talking about researchers because we don't have it. As a driver, you know that your neighbor's kid tends to play close to the street after school. You'll know instinctively to slow down while passing that neighbor's driveway.
Right.
Something an AI vehicle equipped with basic limited memory won't be able to do. So,
and neither will a stranger coming down the street,
right.
Or you for the first time didn't either.
Right, because you learned that.
Right.
And that's what they're saying, a theory of mind AI. It can learn the way a human mind learns. Again, possibly approaching there with big server farms, but your car isn't going to be able to do that. Oh, Jamie.
We already have. What the heck is going on without AI?
Yes.
Yeah, it actually brings to mind that movie, The Millennial Man, or the Bicentennial Man.
Yeah.
With Robin Williams. He was basically a robot, and he was.
And he became self-aware.
Yeah, I would say he did pretty quickly, though. His thing was to be considered human, though, and after 200 years of trying to get that, he finally did, and then he died, basically.
Yeah.
So, sorry if that's a spoiler, folks. It's been around for a long time, that movie.
Yeah, and
there's a lot more to it.
A Ray Bradbury short story.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So self-aware AI. Again, they've got stuff that can mimic it, but it's not self-aware yet.
Got it.
And then we'll look at, there's generative AI, and here, actually, let's go here, because this is Adobe. Their video editing and photo editing tools are generative AI. In fact,
That's what the tool I'm using is.
Right. It's yes, generative AI. This is, you'll recognize this image here.
Yeah, from tonight's graphic.
I basically said to Microsoft Bing, and yes, you can do this in Bing,
Yep.
image creator, a picture of AI, and this is what it came up with.
That's pretty fascinating that it would actually do that.
Right. Now, let's try.
Are you going to change it? Okay.
I like caves.
Caves? So this is a demonstration of this particular.
Let's just do cave with light.
Okay. And I got a comment. You ready?
Sure. Because this will take a moment.
Oh, it's going to take some time. All right, good. The day that AI doesn't need us is what I'm worried about. Till then, they need us.
And Cliff, we're not even to the point of AI needing. Okay, there you go.
Ah, interesting.
Now, if you notice, this looks fairly cartoony.
Yeah, a little bit.
So let's try semi-realistic.
And I think a lot of it is how you ask the AI to work for you.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the tool I'm using right now. It doesn't really
this is a tool
have that problem.
And this is something that you can use to create images. Oh. Cliff says.
But one day.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. I saw something right before the show that gave me the idea that maybe not. So
okay. So here you go. It's not quite as cartoony, but it's not quite hyper realistic either, because I said semi-realistic because I wanted to get a little bit of interesting in there.
And I think there's actually a term. I saw it in the tool. There's a photoreal or something.
Yeah. And then.
So part of it is using the right terms. Part of it is using the right prompts. That's what they call this, I think, right? To ask for what you want.
Right. And then this is basically learning how to talk to the AI.
Oh, and this one has a tip. Add media types like watercolor.
Yeah.
That's very fantasy, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what you wrote?
Just artificial light. I mean, what are the choices, So.
Well, if you could type it in, it sounds like it's...
This is something that I would use for Dungeons and Dragons.
I see.
This is actually how I found this bit of it.
So there's actually a lot of fun applications, I think.
Right.
Then there's a surprise me. I see the button over there.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Okay.
Cliff says artistic license.
Yes. Okay. So what is an AI computer? It used to be just a regular computer chip.
Okay.
Now, let's see if I can make this bigger. Yes.
There it is.
Okay. An AI PC. And because the new Intel chips, the Ultra chips, have AI built into them.
Okay.
Not that it has AI, but it has processors for AI. So this is a regular CPU. This is what is in every computer, cell phone, whatever.
Yeah, it's a block diagram, I would call it, I think.
Yes, it isn't the way it's actually structured.
It's fairly simple. In other words, it's a diagram of its what it is? Or
yeah, this is like, it has a control section. It has individual processors. Now, the ALU is basically non-specialized. It can do any type of calculation.
Okay.
Because your computer CPU never knows what kind of calculation it's going to need to perform. And this is the cache. This is where it's stored, so that it doesn't have to go all the way out to your RAM to pick up memory. It'll store some stuff here, and this is its scratch pad. This is where it works.
Okay.
So this is how it works. And these are not hard lined to anything. They can go anywhere in this cache. The controller can grab any one of these. So it's, it's very open. So there's some inefficiencies there, but it's very generalized.
So I'm getting the impression this is kind of like a general practitioner doctor you might go to, whereas you're going to go to something else that might be more specialist.
Now this is a GPU. This is the graphics processing unit. This is what's in every video card. What's in a lot of and
they work together too, right? The CPU.
And a lot of motherboards have GPU chips on them now to handle the graphics. And if you notice, it's not as generalized. It's got much smaller processors, And you've got these controllers with their caches, and these processors are basically good at doing one thing. Because for graphics, there's only a few calculations that you really need to do. You just need to do a lot of them really fast.
Okay.
So it's got multiple small specialized processors. This is a neural processing unit. This is what they use for AI. So instead of having the controls on the caches, which controlling the, where the scratch pads, the controls are on the processors. And so,
wait, isn't that the cache? The purple's the cache, right?
You're right. Yes. So the cache is on the processors.
Okay.
So they're directly tied. They're directly tied because each processor, it basically, the way they get their stuff done because is they send out like something that is going to give you an A or a B.
Okay.
And then it sends out, assuming it was an A, this processor processes. Assuming it was a B, this processor processes. So as soon as the first one figures out whether it's an A or a B, it cuts off one of the branches. But it keeps doing that. It keeps branching. So, the A step might branch into an X and a Y. So, once it figures out that it's A, it drops the B branch. And then once the A branch is done processing, it knows which to drop, the X or the Y branch. But by then it's already branched again. And so it's able to do a lot of calculations. It just splats them out and consolidates them. It's very power intensive because they're almost all active all the time.
Okay.
But they're all doing stuff all the time. So this is what's in, this is the architecture. Yeah.
So, and the neural term, I mean like a neural net, which is brain. They're nowhere near the human brain in complexity, but they're trying to, in a smaller scale, get the tricks of the human brain. I remember back in the 90s sometime, they managed to get the processing power of an ant. And I remember seeing a cockroach type
robot,
which was working on a neural net of the cockroach, and it actually moved very, very similar. It made you think that you were looking at something that had a cockroach brain, basically.
So that's definitely much more complex than an ant now, but it's nowhere near, it's nowhere near a cat, which, sorry, cat lovers, I'm a cat lover, but cats aren't as smart as dogs.
Well, but they do a lot of things.
Right. But what I'm saying is that it's nowhere near even that level.
I think some cats are smarter than dogs.
Only because there's golden retrievers.
Alrighty then. Sorry, golden retriever lovers.
They're happy dogs. They're nice. They're one of the nicest dogs out there, but dumb as a box of rocks.
Beautiful. You can't have it all, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they're not that dumb.
Yeah. Now, here, why don't you come back to us?
Okay. All right.
So, and then another thing.
You leave.
Sorry, I was putting down my keyboard.
Okay.
The last thing that I'll say that is a danger of AI right now, not a science fiction danger, not a Skynet type danger. I left my aluminum foil hat still on the roll because I don't want to waste up the aluminum foil to make one. Sorry, sorry guys who like props. But the big danger right now is that it makes it easier to deceive people.
Yes.
They're using it to, you've heard the term deep fake. That's AI generated. Basically, they can make pictures, videos, emails. They can basically get some emails from the CEO of a company and then generate an email that looks like it was written by that CEO.
Heck, the spammers already get close.
Right. That's how they BEC, business something compromise. business email compromise.
Hmm.
Um,
I hadn't heard that term. Okay.
yeah, cybersecurity. That's kind of
Yep.
me.
Got it.
So that's how they get an employee when the CEO says, send a check to this vendor, by noon.
Are we gonna have to double check everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whew. Wow.
Yeah, and that's just it. And they've got it to the point where if the CEO speaks in any conferences that he's been recorded on, they can alter someone's voice to the same voice and speech pattern.
Wow.
They'll basically record someone talking, and I think some of them can do it real time, but not quite with the voice thing, because if you have to change the timing of it, it would sound weird.
Some of the movies do that.
Right, yeah. But and I don't know if we're quite there yet, but they can definitely record it and then play it back at the speed and cadence of the original speaker, and it will sound very like.
How do you defend against that? That's
because
I saw
right.
a string of video,
mm-hmm.
and they were very famous people, presidents, vice presidents, stuff, handling big, huge guns and taking down stores, and it's like, yeah, that's not real.
No. Well, and here's the thing.
But it looked real.
Yeah. Okay. And they're getting better and better, unfortunately. I mean, we saw a really good one with, was it Morgan Freeman? Yeah, I think it was Morgan Freeman, an AI of him talking.
Oh, right. Yes, yes.
And the thing is that you could tell just by the way it moved that it wasn't really him. But if you weren't paying attention, it would look like him. And that's from.
I actually even said this is not Morgan Freeman, but it looked and sounded like him.
Yeah, but I look and sound like him is actually what it said in his voice.
Right.
And it was a video, so it was his face moving while he talked.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It's at least 5 years old. They've gotten better.
Wow.
So
how do you defend against that? I mean,
well, AI versus AI. There's now AI out there checking for artifacts and stuff that looks like that's not right, because they don't always get everything right.
Yeah, I've seen some of that where you want it to have words in it and it just goes blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
garbles it terribly.
Or things like,
even when you spelled it right,
like the Morgan Freeman one, the way it blinked its eyes the same way every single time, in the same pattern. That was to me what gave it off.
Okay.
But
that's very detailed. I mean, you'd have to really be.
You'd have to be paying attention.
Paying attention, very focused on.
Yeah.
So and most of us kind of catch a lot of the stuff in passing.
Right. So that
I think.
And so that's right now, I think the biggest threat of AI is that it's being used by bad guys. That doesn't make it bad. It's like a knife. It can cut your dinner. You can do surgery with it, or you can stab someone with it.
Janie comes on and she says, Dr. Phil showed a guy creating a deep fake within a few minutes of a radio guy who volunteered for the demonstration. Very scary. Must be cautious at all times. Slow, careful as we go.
Yeah.
Slow down and
it used
think.
to be. Yeah, it used to be seen was believing. And it's getting
crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Janie, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Another danger.
How long ago was that? Was that recently or was that a while ago? And just imagine where they've got you now.
Yeah, and imagine that guy probably didn't have top of the line stuff either. That's stuff that you could run on your PC.
And doing something in a few minutes versus taking a lot of time.
Right.
Maybe that'll make a difference.
Getting it right.
I don't really know.
Because here's the other thing is that they have AIs that can spot AI generated stuff.
Oh, that was yesterday on Merit Channel?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Merit Channel.
They have AIs that can spot AI generated stuff. But those are being used by the bad guys too. So they'll create something AI generated, have run another AI on it to spot the flaws, and then fix them, and and just run that until
Wow.
yeah. So another bad thing about another way that AI can be used for harm, and I've mentioned this in one of my cybersecurity ones, is that right now they don't have AI generating viruses, computer viruses, but they do have AI taking an existing computer virus that they created
Hmm.
and moving things around in it, writing the same function in a different way, or basically so that antivirus software doesn't recognize it.
Oh, I see.
Just changing it just enough that this set of commands isn't in that order or in that spot. So the AI the antivirus software doesn't recognize it.
Wow.
Which means that a lot of the big antivirus companies are using AI to spot viruses.
Spy versus spy. Remember that old
Yeah,
cartoon?
because you know,
And they were pretty well matched too,
yeah,
as I recall.
right.
So
So instead of looking for specific strings of code, it's looking for, is there code in here that can do something bad?
mm,
And again, and that triggered them to do something else that makes it harder to find that out.
mm,
You know, it's just, yeah. So that's, so the fact that AI can be used by the bad guys is the main threat of AI right now. AI itself isn't smart enough to want anything. I mean,
it's a tool like any other tool.
right. Yeah. It
The
hasn't.
knife in your kitchen, the pencil in your
Yeah.
hand.
It hasn't even approached pet territory. It's not a pet yet. It's just a tool.
You mean pet smart, as in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or anything. I mean,
Okay.
you could actually train an Alexa to react verbally as if it was a pet. But is it? No. It's just a set of baked in commands that and behaviors that you can give it.
I see.
Maybe like a goldfish. It might be as smart as a goldfish. Which, but
Got it.
you know,
Okay.
will we get there? Probably. I mean, we're already now getting neural net able to run on a CPU.
Mm.
Granted, limited, but that's now. What about in the future? Well, before you didn't have a phone in your pocket. You had one in a briefcase, a mobile phone in a briefcase, not a pocket. So, that's.
Or in the car. It was in the car.
Yeah.
As I recall.
So what can you do to defend yourself against AI? Again, just be critical of things that you see and hear, because it could be generated. Look for the source. I mean, if
okay.
basically, as if you saw something written. What's
Heck, I call like if something happens like with my bank, I won't use, let's say, a link, no clicky. Remember?
Oh, good. Yes. No
I'd call my bank.
Yes.
Like, hey, I got this thing, and
yeah.
No, that's not real. Okay.
Yeah.
But you can still goof up because you just don't know. I mean,
I get a lot of emails forwarded to me. Is this real? No. Well, 90, at least 9 times out of 10.
So you almost need to go into almost anything and with the assumption that
it's fake.
It's not real.
Right.
Which is very difficult to.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, I get paid to be paranoid, so.
Well, and I think it's going to change our psychology because there's a whole book about. It's called Influence by Robert Cialdini, and it talks about how we, like, if we see something that's expensive, we assume that it's high quality because it's expensive. So there's this correlation, but if you have to go into everything with a different psychology,
well, it's kind of like a city person going to a small town.
Okay.
In a small town, they're much more trusting because they know everyone. If someone screws someone over, everyone will know.
You get a reputation.
Yeah.
With everyone.
So someone from a big city, you only know 5 people in a city of a million plus. So reputation doesn't mean much there unless you hit the papers, or the news channels, which is bad because they can scam people in the small town for a very short time until everyone knows, because they will. But it's also can be disconcerting for the city person of, why would you tell this person that? Well, because I trust them, because they can, yeah. Oh, and why? Oh, look at Cliff's.
I just noticed it. Thank you.
Why is Alexa and Siri female and not Hank or Bob? Because nobody, yes, because nobody would use it.
You can change it.
You can actually change it. But
why would nobody use it if it were Hank and Bob?
Because they've done psychological studies, and both men and women would preferentially deal with a female voice.
Weird. Okay.
It's basically statistically significant, the fact that they would prefer. In fact, that's why that's actually why the voice on Star Trek was Majel Barrett, a female voice, because there was actually a study out there saying that people will listen to a female voice more than a male voice.
That's not true in real life, though. People don't listen to women at all, hardly.
Right, but if someone says emergency, more people would pay attention if it's a female voice than if it's a male voice.
Okay.
Yeah, there was actually a study for it. That's why they used it.
Okay.
Or maybe the study came separate, but it confirmed the fact that, but that's why a lot of the voices that you hear default to female.
Wow.
Even our car has a female voice, even though we could change it if we wanted to.
They call her Princess.
Yeah. Yeah. If I wasn't sitting next to Pam, because it's kind of daft, so I would call it Blondie. But
I think my wife's is Magic Mike. Okay.
Yeah. My boss has the voice of an actor who played a drill sergeant
in his car.
Yeah, that's the voice of his navigation.
Oh my God.
Because he just finds it amusing.
I see. Because he could ignore it. He couldn't ignore his drill sergeant, probably, right? I don't know.
Okay. I think that's about it. Didn't really go on a deep dive in anything, but I wanted to just cover the spread of things.
Okay.
And touch on a bunch of it. If people have specific questions, I can do research on specific topics and maybe have another episode. But I think we pretty much covered.
We know you like the crunchy topics.
The general gist of it,
and I didn't know a lot of that stuff too. The several different kinds, and
and like I said, that's only that group that says that. So
Got it. So
yeah,
could be true. It's like a lot of things, VHS versus Betamax. At some point, something shakes out, and that's what everybody uses after a while. So
yeah,
there could be a time when those 7 are the standard.
Yeah.
So
we'll
find out.
And again, some of them are real, some of them are still science fiction.
Oh, you're welcome, Janie Becker.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Should I do this part?
Sure.
All right. Some stellar events this week, and we're talking about September 20th through September 27th. September 20th, today is Neptune's at opposition. It's a great time to take pictures because it's kind of like the closest. September 22nd, that's Sunday, which is the autumn equinox. Day and night seem to be equal.
Well, also when Neptune is at opposition, it's reflecting the most sun back at us too.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. Also, on September 22nd, Uranus and the Moon are in conjunction. The Pleiades is 0.2 degrees south of the Moon, so there's an occultation of Pleiades behind the Moon. September 23rd, Jupiter and the Moon are in conjunction. In fact, Jupiter is 5.8 degrees south of the Moon. That's pretty close. September 24th is the last quarter moon, and the Moon rides high. It is also the next Globe at Night project that begins, and it's a 10-day run, September 24th to October the 3rd, and they brought back choices. In fact, you have 2 for both the Southern Hemisphere and the Northern Hemisphere. In the Southern Hemisphere, you want to look for Sagittarius or Grus. Did we figure out how this?
No.
Okay, we didn't figure out how it's spoken. And then in the Northern Hemisphere, you can look for Cygnus or Pegasus, and you basically go out and observe and report back to the site. Even if it's a cloudy night, you just go out and You can use your mobile phone. You can use your computer and report back to them what they're trying to do. And I guess it's very important is try to understand light pollution in the areas where people live. And it's a great citizen science project. You can participate yourself and provide some really good data. September 25th. See, AI won't do that. Mars and the moon are in conjunction. Mars is 4.9 degrees south of the moon. September 26th, Pollux is 1.6 degrees north of the moon. And September 27th, we're back to the Friday night show. I'm going to do something fun with science, but I'll tell you that in a minute. Find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel. What inspires you the most for this coming week? There it is.
Sorry, folks. So if you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. Join us again next Friday, September 27th, Wild and Crazy Science. Also, we have a guest confirmed. Sadie Hoffman from the Redshift Wrangler Project, Zooniverse Project, plans to join us on October 4th from Rochester, New York.
I can't wait. And I found some crazy things about science, and I was like, what, really? I was like, what a great topic. Wild and crazy science. You may recall the wild and crazy. Was that Steve Martin?
Yeah, we are two wild and crazy guys, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Scorpio is huge in the sky if the clouds pucker off. Yeah.
So it must be upside down for you as well. If the moon is upside down.
I think he thinks it's upside down.
Well,
over
of course
here.
he would, but I mean, just
yeah.
If the moon, I don't know. You'll have to tell me, Cliff.
Well, he already told us that Orion is the other way around.
That's
so
right.
Yeah, I would imagine just
so
about
everything. So we would
everything.
see it this way, and you would see it from this way, and we would see it from this way.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Any of the ones that are near the equator, close enough for both of us to see. Yeah.
Yeah, which is going to be an overlap of areas, and you're not going to see Polaris from southern hemisphere. Pretty much anywhere in the southern hemisphere, I think. From the equator.
Not without a neutrino detector.
Yeah, probably not from the equator. So at some point over the curve of the Earth, you stop. It stops.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but we can see Scorpius from here, and clearly Cliff can too. So two different directions. Gosh, that's a whole different discussion. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, they probably see the sun upside down too.
Well, they wouldn't know though, would they? But you're probably right.
Yes.
But we can see it from anywhere.
The glowy red ball, yeah.
Oh, of course, in the
glowy yellow ball.
When the sun tips, it's dark on one pole, and it's all the way over.
Right, I know.
And I'm just thinking that you can't see the sun from everywhere all the time on Earth, and sometimes you see it. That's all you see. It doesn't go. It doesn't set.
Right.
Yeah, we got another comment.
Oh, okay. Everything is upside down, back to front. You say north, I think south.
Yep. Interesting. Do you really? I don't know about that.
Well, it gets colder as they head toward the south, unlike here where it gets colder as you head toward the north.
That's true. Yeah. And the seasons, like he's going to go into, what are we going into? Fall. He's going to go into spring.
Yeah.
Essentially, spring weather. All right. So, anything from you?
No, I've got enough trouble tonight.
Sure. We will watch for your comments going forward as well. And you know what? I'm going to actually run the video this week.
Really?
Yeah. Last week I'm sitting there going, oh, I didn't run the video. We gotta. No, what?
I think he's.
You're messing with my mind. All right, folks. Have a great week. Thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Oh, we didn't do a shout out. We want to do a shout out? You got it.
Sure. We've got
Cliff and Janie.
And Scott.
And Scott. Oh, we got somebody new. Emissary Warrior?
Emissary Warrior 1, yeah.
Thanks for being here. We really appreciate that. I don't know what Dawn's doing. She might be busy. Or, of course, it's very late for her, so she might be asleep.
Yep.
But she'll probably see this later. Folks, have a really great week. We'll see you next Friday.
Okay. Yep.
Good night.
Good night.